You can hear the speakers here, here, and here. It's like in the IMAX. Hey fish fans, it's Raina and I'm making the dreaded coronavirus video. Yeah, so this is kind of nuts, isn't it? We're all sort of in the same boat here, regardless of where we are in the world. In Canada, everybody's been asked to stay at home if at all possible and practice social distancing, the new key phrase. So I just wanted to talk about what this looks like for me, for Halifax Mermaids, and how I think other mermaids can adapt to this, because we're all losing gigs, having huge financial loss, and just crazy stuff going on. So first of all, for us, Sean and I were supposed to be in Florida today. We were supposed to fly there today. We had tons of stuff lined up. We were gonna go see Mertailor and get my new fabric tails. We were gonna visit, we were gonna do the Springs, Disney, all that stuff. And this time last week, it still looked like it was gonna happen because we hadn't reached that pandemic label yet. And then as soon as we got that pandemic label, everything started falling apart. We weren't sure if we should or shouldn't go on the trip. It was hard to know because I am immune compromised, and then all the information that's obvious now was not obvious at that point. So we didn't have all the information to make an educated decision. Thankfully, we had previously purchased insurance so that if we did had to cancel, for instance, because of my health, we could do that with like less than 24 hours notice or something. So we just kind of tried to relax, and we thought, okay, we're just going to take this one day at a time. We're either going to go or we're not going to go, and the universe is going to tell us, like, if we can't go, we can't go. So once we made a decision not to go, as more information came out, I actually felt better. I was definitely disappointed, but just living in that anxiety of will we, won't we, will we, won't we, was so stressful. And now, looking back, I am so glad we made that decision, because I have friends and family who are stranded all over the globe. They're closing borders, they're closing the Canadian border. It's madness. They've shut down airlines. You will probably know all this because it's just in our face nonstop, and that was adding to my stress and anxiety as well. And because I am immune compromised, I was getting really stressed out having to prepare to be possibly quarantined, or at the very least self-isolated. So, you know, we had to do the grocery shopping, we had to make sure we had my medications, we had to make sure we had the pet medication, the pet food, the litter, anything that we could miss because everything was going to close. So we did that, and no, we did not buy a million things of toilet paper, but being somebody with interstitial cystitis and endometriosis, I do go through a lot more than regular people. Hi Pinky, are you gonna come and be in the video? She might come over. I call her Stompy because she can't hear how loud she is. So yeah, when that all got canceled, I decided to do my hair because I needed something positive to just make me feel good about myself. So it is rainbow hair, and we'll put some pictures up of what it looked like when I first got it done. And I think it's pretty cool because not a lot of people do the red as a base and then do rainbow. So huge shout out to my girl Cassandra Colors. I also did something that I am going to recommend to all my thick-haired mermaids. I got a discreet undercut. So you can't see it with my hair down, but when my hair goes up, you can see the little bit of an undercut here. And I did this after years of people telling me it would be a good thing to do, and I was kind of scared to do it. Oh my god, changed my life. So first of all, it makes detangling my hair so much easier because there's less of it, but it doesn't look like there's less of it. It makes it a lot easier for putting the wigs on. They sit on my head better. I get less tangles. And then for me, because I have endometriosis, I get those night sweats, and so I get really bad eczema back here around my hairline, and then that's where I get all my mats in my hair. I can go to bed, have my hair up, have it be perfect, and wake up and it is like a tornado. And I was having Sean help me brush it. It was so crazy. So I love the undercut. It's so cool. It's gonna be great for summer. Like I said, you can't see it unless I put my hair up, and even then it's not very noticeable. And I love the rainbow, even though only people on the internet and my husband and cats are going to see it at this point because I am working from home. A few almost 2 years ago now, I decided to go back to a day job. It was a hard decision to make. I'd been working full-time as a mermaid off and on for years, sometimes supplementing my income with a little bit of subbing and stuff like that, but I wanted the financial freedom to be able to say no to gigs so I could prioritize my health. And then Sean's mom gets sick with dementia, and as you all know, she passed away. So we wanted the freedom to be able to have that financial stability so that we could help his mom with that. And it was the best decision I ever made. I love my day job. It can be really stressful because Halifax Mermaids is such a big company at this point that it is literally like having 2 full-time jobs. But for situations like this, it has been a dream because, like most of you, within 2 days, I lost all of my gigs until the summer, which they're now thinking this is going to go into the summer. I don't know why people think it's only 2 weeks. Like, if we're looking at what is happening in other countries, it's going to be months of this. And Halifax has already canceled things until May, till June. The country has canceled things until June. It's crazy. So we lost all of our gigs between now and then, and I had to refund people. And your business should never be in a position where, you know, losing 1 or 2 gigs is going to bankrupt you. But this was not 1 or 2 gigs. This was literally like everything. It was $10,000 worth of confirmed work, and then we had all that stuff that was kind of up in the air and didn't get booked and would have gotten booked had we been able to proceed as planned. We also had this huge meeting we were supposed to have last week, which can't go into detail about yet because it's still sort of top secret. My Patreons know, so if you want to know, you can sign up for $2. But it was huge, and it was going to be a first in the mermaid community and mind-blowing and game-changing, and we had to postpone that, and that was really heartbreaking as well. But of course, it's for the better of everybody. So yeah, we're all just kind of in this boat, and I was 2 days ago thinking that Halifax Mermaids was going to go bankrupt because the only money we have left in our account after all these refunds, after all these cancellations, all of this stuff, was tax money, money that we knew was going to be delegated to taxes. And we are a corporation. I'm not a single mermaid who then just like buddies up with other people. I don't think mermaids actually understand the liability implications of doing things like that. There's a lot of benefits to actually having it as an actual business, not just being one individual self-employed person who teams up with people. Same with your insurance. There's like a lot of benefits, and maybe we'll do some videos about that later. But so like my business expenses are big. I have an actual team of 18 people. It's not just people around the world that I'm like, oh, hey, you're a Halifax mermaid, and you're a Halifax mermaid, and hey, you're a Halifax mermaid. It's not like that. This is my actual team, and they're literally just right here with me. It's not just people I toss a gig to every once in a while around the world or whatever. This is my local team, and there's responsibilities with that. And you know, one of the big things is maintaining the insurance, because it's not just for when we're performing, it's for the company as a whole. And what's really interesting is that our insurance covers cancellations of events and bookings for a million reasons. It covers it in case of smog, like if the pollution is really bad and like an event is like, oh, we have to cancel, or forest fire, like natural disasters, tsunami, even though like I live in like Nova Scotia and there's only ever been one. It's crazy. It covers it. Terrorism, like if there was a terrorist threat and they had to get rid of all big gatherings of people, I'd be covered, literally covered under all of these things. I could submit a claim and our company could recoup some of that loss. Not for a pandemic. I don't even know if pandemic insurance exists, but not for a pandemic. So I was 2 days ago really believing that Halifax Mermaids was going to be bankrupt, and I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do here? What are my options? Do I want to just end the company itself as a whole, because that might be the best way to recoup my losses, and then see what life is like in a year if I want to try it up again, which was scary to think because I've been doing this for 11 years and more than half of it has been as a business at this level. Then I'm thinking, well, I am lucky enough that I can do my day job from home and it's not going to impact my income at all. Do I want to pay to keep my company going? So do I want to work a job so I can have the job on the side, kind of thing? So The other thing is some members of my family are not able to yet claim unemployment, or they've been laid off and they're going to have unemployment, but their unemployment is not going to be enough to cover their expenses. And I don't have kids. Sean and I don't have major expenses. So I want to be able to financially help out family members as well. So I want to have financial freedom, and it's just really stressful. So I haven't been sleeping, and we just hired 4 more mermaids, and I was trying to get them trained up, and now the pools are closed, the beaches are closed, all public things are closed. We're a bit more extreme in Canada, it seems, than what the US is. And with good reason, actually. Nova Scotia has the second highest rate of senior citizens in all of North America, and it has the highest rate of immune-compromised people in Canada. So it is really important that we are practicing social distancing, because immune-compromised people like myself, like my aunt, like other family members could die from this. And it's scary. So I'm not sleeping, and I'm racking my brain. What are we gonna do? And then our government just announced all of these things that they're putting in place, and they're actually already putting them in place. I know people who have benefited from it today to help save small businesses in situations like mine and performers. If this was my only income, there would be things in place. So people who wouldn't normally qualify for unemployment are now qualifying for it. Small businesses, we don't have to pay our taxes now until August, which is huge, because if I'm able to work the summer, I can make all of that money back, and it's not going to be a problem at all to pay my taxes in August, at all in the slightest, if we have all those summer gigs. And they may revisit it. If we're financially super impacted in the economy this way, they may delay it again. They stopped student loans, which was amazing. I have student loans. I'm like 34 and I've been paying student loans forever, like 7 years of university. It's just been nuts. It's been nuts. So it's really crazy. Our government is really, really hustling, and no government is perfect. Justin Trudeau has his flaws, of course, and I don't even identify as a liberal or a conservative. I sort of am in the middle right now, so probably more like NDP with a little bit of Green Party, if you're Canadian and know the references. I am really surprised, and I'm shocked by people who are still continuing to complain, because they're just doing so much. They're raising the child tax benefit, and families are getting more money, and they're putting people on EI who don't technically qualify for EI, and they're processing EI payments in days, and they're doing these things to save small businesses. The local power company is not going to shut off power for anybody if they can't make their bills. Banks are waiving fees. It's crazy how much we're hustling to make sure this works. And it's really awesome to see. So with that in mind, I can put that little piece aside. I know that one way or another I can pay the bills. What can I do to keep my income streams coming? And this is something I talk about in my books. I talk about on Patreon. I have a few videos here on this topic, and I'm gonna do more because I think they're timely now than ever. But diversifying your income when you are a performer is huge, So I want you taking the day job out of the picture. When I just worked as a mermaid, here's my income. I've got gigs. I sell stock photos, which maybe only sell a few in a year, but when they sell for big money. I have actually been paid for interviews. There are lots of news groups who will actually pay you for your interview and pay you to license your images. I have my book money, I have Patreon money, I have YouTube money, I have my Mertailor affiliate, I have my Slip-ins affiliate, I do sponsored posting. Sometimes, I get free gear and stuff too. And they're all little bits, just little bits and streams, and sometimes they go big and sometimes they're a little bit. YouTube used to be such a great source of income. I used to be able to count on thousands and thousands of dollars of YouTube in a year, but then they've scaled back what they pay their creators so much. I'm lucky to get like $100 a month, but hey, it's $100 a month, that's a hosting payment. There you go, right? So yeah, so getting out there, doing these things, and also cross-supporting. We're limited by the digital space, but you can support other patrons. If you have a Patreon, you can team up with someone else who has a Patreon, and you guys can do something exclusive for your fans. If you have a YouTube and another mermaid has a YouTube, do a live stream together. Facebook and Instagram both let you do live streams together. It's really cool. Promote each other, share stuff, but also keep in mind that a lot of people around you are broke. So I feel like selling stuff is gonna be hard, like selling actual handmade items is gonna be hard because people are prioritizing. Books and things like that are great. But just as a general rule of thumb, if you can continue diversifying your income, and if you build your mermaid business plan so that it incorporates diversifying your income, it's gonna help you in the long run. I am benefiting right now from all these little things, these little seeds that I planted a year ago when I had a little bit of slow time. January, February, March last year, I couldn't do any mermaid work because I'd had a surgery and I wasn't allowed to swim because of my stitches and because of the ligaments involved with the surgery. So those 3 months I dedicated to launching my Patreon, to redoing my YouTube and beefing everything up, to really dedicating myself to my Mertailor affiliate work, and it's all paying off for me now because that stuff is coming in and I'm able to keep my business going. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what you can do. Now I'm gonna warn you, everyone's gonna be doing this. Everything's gonna be saturated with performers. So you might not get a whole lot, but the work that you put in now, if you have the time, is gonna pay off in the long run. Another thing I wanna talk to mermaids about, a great way that you can network in your community and potentially net yourself some more gigs down the road, are to host some live videos for your fans, especially those children that are stuck at home right now. I want you to take like a Mr. Rogers approach to it. It is scary right now. Kids are scared. They're seeing people in masks. They're hearing about people dying. They're scared of getting sick. They're not allowed to play with their friends. They're stuck indoors, especially if it's still winter like it is here. They're not getting out as much. They're not going to school. It's a scary time for kids. So host a live stream. Read some books, sing some songs, show off your mermaid gear, but do it with the children in mind. Schedule it as an event on Facebook so that your fan base and parents know, okay, cool, I can tune in at 6 p.m. on Sunday and Mermaid Raina is gonna read my kids some stories, and she's already told me ahead of time that it's child appropriate, so I know that I can let my kids just sit down and watch it. I wanna give huge props to my friend Mermaid Vanessa, who is the one who gave me this idea. She has a princess party, and every week right now, she is having different princesses read stories, and it's super, super cool. They're having story time, and her fans are loving it, the kids are loving it. We're totally gonna do it here. We have a huge fan base in Halifax, lots of kids with nothing to do over spring break, so it's gonna be great. You can tell I feel really passionate about this. I'm hand talking right now. It's just, it's crazy. Isn't it crazy? It's been up and down, up and down. So some of the more difficult fallouts I've been experiencing because of the coronavirus is that the trip canceled, like I said, but you know what? That's not the end of the world. We can always schedule another trip. My great aunt died on the weekend and we will not be able to have a funeral for her, and that's a little rough. I was pretty close with her, so that's kind of hard to take. The other thing, that's a little emotional, so I have to be careful about this. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and I have endometriosis. If you've been following me, this is a disease I talk about a lot. I was supposed to have a specialist appointment on the 31st of March, our version of a specialist appointment, because Canada does not recognize endometriosis as requiring specialist care, and this is one of the barriers that we face in trying to get adequate care. 6 months ago I had this appointment, and I thought that it was to get approved for surgery. The appointment was made with the understanding it was to get approved for surgery, and then it was, no, we want you to wait another 6 months and go off all your meds and see how you do. And that was after already spending a year, an additional year on meds from the point of seeing the doctor. So it's been like 2 years now. And 2 years ago I thought I would have this surgery, and now I finally have this appointment again where they can stamp the okay for the surgery, and it's not even the surgery, it's just the okay, and then I go on another wait list for 4 months, and then I get the surgery. So I was thinking I might be having a surgery in September. I'm 34 and I will be 35 in November, and this surgery is to remove as much of the disease from my body as they can, which will greatly increase my quality of life and decrease the pain I experience and increase my fertility. And Sean and I have been trying now since September to have a baby, and we have not been able to get pregnant. So I've been asking for this surgery my entire adult life. First I was asking for it for disease management, and now I'm asking for it for disease management and fertility, and it's just, my experience with the Nova Scotia health system has been horrible. So on the one end, I know that all these appointments needed to be canceled, but I don't think people quite appreciate that those of us with chronic illness can't just cancel our chronic illness because our appointments are canceled or because there's a pandemic. Like, our issues don't go away. Somebody in my support group was supposed to have an embryo implantation this week. So she had been taking weeks of hardcore fertility medication. They had a successful embryo, and that was going to be implanted, and they were going to see if she could get pregnant. And now it's like someone hit the reset button because her appointment has been canceled for the safety of everyone involved. But that's a wasted embryo. That is fertility treatments that were extremely costly and wasted, because by the time she gets in again. Who knows? It might not be until this summer, maybe even later. It's not like those fertility treatments stay. Like, she's gonna need more. There's like wasted eggs and everything. It's really complex. I'm sure some people are kind of like, oh, well, boo-hoo, it's a pandemic. And it's not. I mean, you can be upset about both at the same time, right? I am immune compromised, so I completely appreciate the importance of canceling these things, but I'm allowed to be upset. So yeah, I'm pretty upset about it. I don't know why I thought it would still happen. Maybe because I'm in a lot of pain, so I thought I would still maybe qualify to have it. I understand why they had to cancel it for the most part. The people who would do my surgery don't really do any other surgeries, so I don't know how they're going to be able to help the masses in other ways other than keeping themselves from getting sick. But yeah, it's just rough. It's just rough. 2020, I thought this would be the year that we could get pregnant. At the very least, I thought it was going to be the year that I would have the surgery that I've been asking for my entire life. So that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, and I'm in different stages of acceptance with that. Sometimes I'm okay, and then sometimes I cry. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure that I even want to go the route of in vitro. I'd very much also like to adopt, but adoption process here is extremely difficult and convoluted as well. It's not just a matter of being, hey, I want to adopt. I could make a whole video about that. I'm rambling about it now because I'm feeling emotional, but that has been an unintended consequence of this whole quarantine thing. I don't have the virus, neither does Sean, but we are self-isolating because of my risk factors on the advice of medical practitioners and because we interact with people who are at risk as well. So this is day 2 for us of the official self-isolation since the government asked us to, but we were mostly self-isolating since last week as well, except for running out to get errands. So yep, so that's where we are. What can you expect from me in the future? Obviously, gigs are out the window, but we still have loads and loads and loads of archive footage that we have not used. So Sean and I have a bajillion videos to make. I want to make you more resources, so please let me know what kind of content you want to see, tutorials, reviews, whatever. I will show you anything I can. I just would love to hear from you. I think we all just need to cling to each other during this crazy time. Pinky's sleeping right through it. Hey, baby. Yeah, anybody else going stir crazy? Anybody else get cabin fever? I just wish I could go swimming, but I understand why I can't. We have this amazing new underwater camera too, and it's been amazing and beautiful. So yeah, one last shout out to Cassandra Colors for my awesome hair. Please like and subscribe. Click the bell if you want to get notified. We really, really appreciate if you have $2 a month to spare. I know it's hard times around for everybody, but if you want to subscribe on Patreon, we do put out a lot of extra content and resources and early access to these videos, and when a couple of people throw in their $2, it all adds up and it helps us pay the bills. So we are getting that government help, but it's still skin of our teeth, so anything extra is really helpful, only if you are in a place where you can afford it, right? Don't do these kind of things if you can't. So best wishes, good luck. We'll try to do one of these updates for the quarantine once a week and see how things are going and how things have changed. Keep track of your mental health. Try to go outside in the sunshine if you can. Keep that 6-foot distance between people. Please, 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 even if you're a healthy person who isn't worried about getting sick, please think about people like me and other vulnerable people who can get very seriously ill from this. Best wishes. Thank you. Yeah, you got fur all over me, Goofy.